Hey, what is up, mortals? It's Edward Sailor here, and before we get into today's video, there's something I'd like to say. I'd like to let you all know we have a merch store. Some of the items in it are only available for a limited amount of time, so if you're interested, go into the description and check it out. Each purchase helps us make more content. Secondly, if this video hits 300 likes by the end of the week, we will continue this what if. Thirdly, if you didn't know, only 43.5% of you guys are subscribed to us. So please hit that subscribe button and click the bell icon. Now with that out of the way, let's get into the story. Walking into class, Midoriya could see many different emotions displayed on their classmates' faces. Some full of pride, some disappointment, and some indifferent. As soon as the others in class noticed him, they couldn't tear their eyes away. Midoriya stared at the ground, not wanting to meet any of their eyes. Most were shocked by Midoriya winning the festival, himself included. He knew he had improved, but so had the rest of his class. They had all fought so hard. It had taken him a while to convince himself that he deserved to win. Everyone had worked so hard, but he reminded himself that he had to. Despite what his classmates may think, him winning wasn't out of nowhere. He had worked hard. He had made incredible progress while on his internship, and he finally had a chance to prove it. After what he felt like an eternity, Bakugo finally spoke up.
Don't think this means anything, Deku. You just got lucky.
Bakugo said, an obvious annoyance in his voice. Now, Bakugo, there's no need to be cross. Midoriya won because he worked hard. I would like to be the first to extend my congratulations. Ida said, coming to Midoriya's defense. He didn't know how to respond. He didn't want to come off as cocky, but he didn't want to seem like he was fishing for compliments either. The rest of the class followed Ida's lead and congratulated Midoriya. He mumbled a few thank yous in between their words. Face turning red, Midoriya tried to change the topic of conversation to what they may be learning in class that day. For the most part, everyone was content with this. However, he could still feel Bakugo's eyes burning through his skull. When Aizawa entered the classroom, Bakugo's attention turned away from Midoriya. Despite this, Midoriya could still sense anger fuming from the boy in front of him. He decided to leave it be for the time being and focus on what was being taught. Soon enough, the bell rang, and he and his classmates began to pack up.
Alright, that's it for class today. There's only 1 week before our final exams begin.
The teacher began in his usual deadpan tone.
I'm sure you'll all study constantly, right? Don't forget to keep training. The written exam is only one element. There's also the practical portion to worry about. Good luck.
With that, Aizawa exited the classroom. As soon as he was gone, students began panicking. Midoriya didn't want to say anything, but he was worried about the practical exam. He didn't have much time to dwell on this though, as his classmates began to discuss the written exam.
I've barely even taken notes this semester.
Ashido and Kaminari spoke over each other with incredibly different tones. Mina seemingly tried to laugh it off, while Kaminari seemed incredibly worried.
With the internship and sports festival, I didn't have time to read the textbook.
Kaminari whined. Other students in the class began agreeing.
Ashido, Kaminari, you guys still have time to study? That way we'll all go to the training camp together, right?
Midoriya said, trying to bring comfort to his concerned classmates. Ida and Todoroki offered their own words of encouragement. These comments seemed to have the opposite effect of what was intended, and only served to further the hopelessness felt by Kaminari and Ashido. Eventually, most of the class found themselves making a study group with Yayorozu. The day went on without any problems aside from the stairs in the hallway and Bakugo's constant glaring. When lunch rolled around, Midoriya voiced his concerns to his peers.
I'm kind of scared about the practical. We have no idea what it's going to be.
Midoriya stated,
What do you have to be scared about? Mr. Aizawa said it would be a comprehensive test of everything we've learned this year, and you definitely showed everyone you understood all that.
Uraraka said. Midoriya supposed she was right. He had worked hard and paid attention to everything he had learned in class. Still, the uncertainty of what the test would consist of unsettled him. He decided it wouldn't help him to worry, so he simply ate his food while listening to his classmates' conversations.
Hey, did you guys see the video of the hero killer talking about why he's doing everything? It's gotten super popular online. I think some people are taking it to heart.
Uraraka stated, Yes, it is quite concerning. Some people's beliefs seem to be very easily swayed. I hope this does not cause people to think violent behavior like that is acceptable. Ida chimed in.
All we can really do is work to be great heroes and show that we're worthy of their trust.
Midoriya chimed in with a hopeful tone. A girl that Midoriya recognized from Class 1B walked over to their table. She had red hair and a kind smile on her face. This surprised Midoriya as he expected resentment from the class, as he had stopped one of their own from becoming the winner. No matter how hard he looked though, he could find nothing of the sort on the girl's face. Even more surprising, she then proceeded to tell them what she had found out about the upcoming exam. She said that someone from one of the older classes had informed her that it was going to be a fight against robots, similar to the entrance exam. Her statement earned her a glare from Monoma, but she did not seem to mind. Perhaps part of the exam was finding information to help prepare for it. But then wouldn't that ruin the element of surprise that they were going for? They were trying to simulate a villain attack, and while research can help, part of fighting villains is having to learn while fighting. Midoriya realized he was mumbling and promptly apologized to his friends. He decided it would be in his class's best interest to tell them all about what he had just learned. The whole class seemed, aside from Bakugo who seemed to be apathetic about the content of the exam, seemed ecstatic. Midoriya would be lying if he said he wasn't as well. Sure, everyone thought after the sports festival he would be indifferent to the practical exam after the skill he had shown at the sports festival. While that did ease Midoriya considerably, he was still worried he would be unprepared or would not have enough time to properly evaluate the threat. He also feared he would become too satisfied in his ability because of his success and would not work hard enough, causing him to fall short in the exam. He remembered how hard the entrance exam had been, and thought he had grown significantly since then. He knew the exam would count for the student's growth. He began coming up with ideas on how to use full cowl against the robots so that unlike in the entrance exam, he would remain relatively unharmed. While planning, he was called out by Bakugo.
Hey Deku, I want you to know that I'm not gonna lose to you like I did in the sports festival. We'll be getting individual scores in the upcoming finals. We'll be ranked again, so we'll all know where we stand. And I'm not going to let you stay ahead of me. I'll show you how much better I am.
Bakugo said in a threatening tone before leaving the room.
Wow, I expected him to be upset, but I didn't think he'd be that bad.
Kuroshima said in shock. The class spent the week working to make sure they were prepared. The sports festival had given them all perspectives on how they needed to improve and where their skills were in comparison to the rest of the class. Soon it was the written exam. Midoriya saw everyone had been much more confident than they were in the previous week. It seemed Yaoyorozu's tutoring helped all who attended. The 3 days of testing had been difficult, but Midoriya felt he had done well. When Aizawa announced the end of the testing period, everyone seemed satisfied. The end of the written exam meant it was time for the practical. Midoriya couldn't honestly say he was ready for the exam. Sure, he had trained hard and mapped out many potential strategies, but something unexpected could still happen just like in the entrance exam. As he got ready, he could sense similar feelings from his classmates. When they stepped outside, they saw their homeroom teacher as they had all expected, but he was accompanied by many other pro heroes.
Now then,
Aizawa started.
let's begin the last test. Remember, it's possible to fail this final, so if you want to go to the camp, don't make any stupid mistakes.
Why are all the teachers here?
Jiro asked. Her question was met by their principal appearing to explain the situation. He explained that the test had been modified that year and is now not only focusing on hero work, but also teamwork and real combat between real people. He went on to explain that they would be in teams of 2 and would be facing off against their teachers. This caused concern amongst the class. How are they supposed to beat pro heroes? Aizawa began to list their teams and who they would be fighting. The first team was Yaoyorozu and Todoroki facing himself. Midoriya perked up at the name being stated for the second team, and soon it was revealed that he would be paired up with Bakugo. Both boys stared at each other with worry. How could this happen? It was no secret the two did not get along, so why would Aizawa pair them together? Before either could seriously think about it though, they found out that they would be going against All Might himself. Midoriya was terrified. Everything was going wrong. There was no way Bakugo would work with him, even if it was for an exam. Even if they can work past their differences, the chances of them completing the exam were near zero. We're going to be the last team to take the exam, meaning they had more time to prepare. They had to find a way to escape or capture the teachers. Luckily, the teachers were wearing cuffs that were heavy enough to stop the heroes from using their full power. Despite his efforts, Midoriya wasn't able to convince Bakugo to strategize with him. Midoriya was expecting Bakugo to be angry with him, but he didn't expect him to risk his grade out of spite. Though Midoriya thought maybe he would have acted like this anyway, he decided he may as well go watch the others take their exam. It would be a good idea to view his class in action, as well as give him ideas for his exam. He ended up being grateful he watched. He was able to see what his classmates were succeeding in, as well as their shortcomings, helping him strategize for his exam. He realized he would have to recognize his weaknesses and attempt to make up for them. He knew this would be a difficult task. He was aware even with his newfound abilities, he was nowhere near All Might's level of skill when using One for All, meaning he couldn't rely on his quirk to get him through. He wondered if Bakugo would struggle with this. He knew his childhood friend thought very highly of himself, so the idea of acknowledging his shortcomings would be very unappealing. Not only that, but if they can't communicate, they may not be able to pass the exam, since if one tries to escape while the other tries to apprehend All Might, they will end up being overwhelmed. They needed to work together to pull this off. He just had to convince Bakugo to hear him out. Midoriya continued to watch his classmates in awe. For the most part, they had all been able to win despite the challenges they faced, with a few exceptions. With every battle that passed, Midoriya grew more anxious, until finally the 9th battle was finished, and despite his fears, he went to the battleground and prepared himself. Thank you all for watching the video to the end. Now there's a few more things that I'd like to go over before the video ends. Firstly, I'd like to let you all know we have a merch store. Some of the items in it are only available for a limited amount of time, so if you're interested, go into the description and check it out. Each purchase helps us make more content. Secondly, I'd like to thank our $5 plus Patreon supporters for helping to fund these videos. Lastly, on behalf of We the Celestials, I'd like to thank the writer for this video, as well as the editor for this video. Their details will be in the description. If you're a voice actor, editor, or writer, or you're interested in becoming one of those, go into the Discord that is in the description of this video and hit up the head of one of those areas. We're always looking for members to join us. That's it from us for today's video, so thank you all for watching, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you're interested, and hit that like button if you liked the video. Until next time, peace out mortals, have an amazing day.